Hello out there to you. In this problem, we've got an international trade model. So this model is not always asked on the AP exam, but it is sometimes. So what we're really looking at, you should be used to your traditional supply and demand. This implies that the market is closed or the economy is closed, and then this would be the price for that individual country. This is using the United States as the domestic market. So this is what you're used to, all right? So our domestic supply and domestic demand meet, but we're introducing the rest of the world. And so the rest of the world has basically infinite supply or a perfectly elastic supply at whatever price you're told. Okay, so it's important to think about that as world price. They have to tell you what it is. They could give you a function, I guess, too, but it's whatever price they're saying. In this problem, they're saying the world price is P1. Okay, so identify the domestic equilibrium price and quantity without world trade. They might use the word autarky. So if you see the word autarky, that's what that refers to. So domestic price is just going to be where domestic supply and domestic demand meet. That would be P3. Identify the area of consumer surplus at equilibrium. Okay, so consumer surplus is the area below the demand curve above the price. So it would be starting out at P6, going down to Q3, and then over to P3. So it would be P6, Q3, and then over to P3. Identify the area of the producer surplus at equilibrium. So that one I'm going to draw. So we're going to go starting here, up to here, over to here. Oh, and this one's got letters on it. So alternatively, if your answer for the second one would be a bunch of letters. So it'd actually be A, B, T, C, S, U. Okay, and then this one would be F, E, Q, D, R, V. The order doesn't really matter. It's just the area of that. Okay. World price of soybeans is P1. What quantity of soybeans will the U.S. produce domestically? So what I want you to do is draw a line that is going to go from the world price over here. Okay, and then the way to think about this, pretty easy, is to just say, okay, when the price is this, we're going to follow that to domestic supply. So that's going to be Q1. So that would be the quantity that is produced. So Q1, still too big. And then the buyers now are going to want to buy a lot more. So Q5. Okay, so Q5 is what they want to buy. Q1 is what they'll produce domestically. So it'd be the distance between these two. So for that one, the US will import, they'll buy Q5, but we're going to subtract whatever Q1 is. That's the amount imports. So the import is the distance between these two things. What is the producer surplus if the US imports soybeans from the rest of the world? So it's now going to be much smaller. Area below the price, above the supply curve, just F. Producer surplus if the US imports soybeans from the rest of the world. Oh, I did that wrong. This one is producer surplus. This one is consumer surplus. So consumer surplus is going to be huge. It's going to be all the way from up here all the way down to here. So they're going to buy all of that. Okay, so it's going to be a whole bunch of letters. So let's start typing. It's going to be A, B, C, D, E, T, S, R, Q, P, U, V, W, O, X, N, and M. Whole bunch of letters. It's a big triangle, which can be calculated. It's just 1/2 base times height. Then if the US imposes a tariff so that it raises the price up to P2. So this is now going to be world price plus, use capital T for tariff. Okay. So now domestic producers are going to produce to Q2. Domestic buyers are going to buy out to Q4, and the distance between these two will be the imported amount. So now they'll produce Q2 domestically, If the U.S. imposes a tariff on soybeans, how much will they import from the rest of the world? So it'll be Q4 is how much they're going to buy, minus Q2, which is what they're going to produce domestically. Number 10, if the U.S. imposes a tariff on imported soybeans, raises the, okay, same thing. New amount of consumer surplus. So new consumer surplus is going to be this blue triangle. So below the demand curve, all the way out to the price. So it'd be that one, this triangle right here. So if we're doing letters, we're going to go A, B, C, D, T, S, R, U, V, W, and X. And if the U.S. imposes a tariff, raises the price up to P2, what is the new amount of producer surplus? So the producer surplus is now going to go from here up to here and over to here. So that is going to be FEQ. That's it, FEQ. So, okay. Then if the U.S. imposes a tariff on imported soybeans, raises the price up to P2, how much is the tariff revenue? So the tariff revenue is going to be the distance between these two. So it's a little tricky how you write it. That's the amount of the tariff. Let's say that was $2, right? That would be a $2 tariff. Times the imported amount, okay, which would be right there. So we're going to say it is P2 minus P1. So that's the amount of the tariff times the amount that's imported. Q4 minus Q2. Okay, so let me type that just right here. This is the tariff amount, and then this is the quantity imported. And that's how to do that. So just take apart that. If these were numbers, you just substitute in what I was doing with Q1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and P1, 2, 3, just with numbers, and you can calculate the triangles. Pretty straightforward.